I just invite you to notice what it feels like to not be busy, to not be doing, accomplishing, checking boxes, crossing things off a list. For me, this is the hardest practice of yoga, to set it all aside. To help us do this, I'm going to offer you some words. I got a new yoga poetry book here in Sedona. This is called Under Your Very Toes by Meri Nikula. Along with its fellow planets rolling on in their limitless playground, this blue-green wonder marble lets us in for a free ride, turn after turn. We humans, eco-logically short-sighted, trotting about unaware, tickling and tingling the earth's skin as we go. Stop and listen again, under your very toes. Can you hear the giggle? So that's an invitation to us to stop, listen, and listen again to this amazing and beautiful earth beneath us, which we are invited to ride on together. Feel your body and gravity holding you here. Feel breath moving in and out of this body. Feel the energy of tingling fingers, the hair on your scalp, the energy of your eyelids, your toes. Stop and listen again. Today we're moving deeply into our hip flexors, the front of the hips. And I refer to this part of the body as the junk drawer of the body. It's where things get stored and stuck. So everyone just take a moment and bring your hands up to the crease of your hips and just give yourself a little massage there, pressing down with your thumbs. These large muscles on both sides of the spine that come down and connect to the hips, we call hip flexors. They're also known as the anger muscle. So maybe today I don't know, maybe you'll get angry with me, your teacher, but you might feel or sense just a release of something that's been kind of hot and held. Let's bring the hands to the knees and start our movement here with inhale, pull the chest forward, and exhale, pull the shoulders back. And while this is a shoulder and upper body movement, can you start to feel just an ease of movement in your hips? Like we're just introducing movement to the hips. And then we're going to take a little page out of the Kundalini playbook, and we're going to turn this into a Kriya, moving a little more quickly. So we're going to inhale forward and then you can make the SH sound, or you can blow like blowing out candles. Feeling both the upper body and the hips. This should start to build up some heat and awareness. Three more. And then sit up tall, take a deep breath in. Exhale really slowly. And just pause. Do nothing for a moment and feel what's here. Noticing again, fingers, toes, crown of your head. You notice energy. Let's place our right hand on the floor next to us and let's reach the left arm up. Come into a nice long side body stretch, shoulder lifting up and the hip pressing down. So just getting into that side, almost like the morning yawn stretch. You can turn your head to look up and turn your head down, see what's happening in your neck. And then come upright, cross your body and open up into a twist. Looking back over your right shoulder, inhale to be tall, exhale to ring out. And as we come back to center, keep that left hand on the right knee. Now the right arm lifts. So we're in opposition. We're pulling and reaching at the same time. Let's keep that right arm up. Let the left hand come to the floor. Go a little farther into the side body. Deep, full breaths. And then as we bring ourselves upright, let the arm cross the body, come into your twist. I was going to play music for us this morning, but I think I'm going to stick with the theme of nothing, meaning just clear, quiet space. Let the sound of your breath be the music of your practice today. We'll keep the hand on that knee. Let's bring the left arm up and find this oppositional stretch. Go ahead and make some noise. Just stretching into your ribs. And then we'll release that hand down and then just shake your hands. Shake the hands vigorously. Let's get some blood flow down into the fingers. Shake the arms out to the sides. Really shake hard like your hands are wet and there are no paper towels. And we're going to do that 3 times. Big shakes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And then palms up on your lap and feel again. Just pause. The space in between. The non-doing. And sometimes we say just being, but let's lose the word just and use being. When you're ready for more movement, go ahead and come around to a tabletop position. And folks, in this practice, if you would like to stop at any time when I'm guiding movement, kind of be your own guide and come into the space of just pausing in between. Let's start with cat and cow. And again, feeling this down in the hips. Try to guide this movement down around your hip flexors, your tailbone, your glutes. Moving with your breath. Finding a neutral position, extend the right leg behind you and the left arm forward. So using the strength of your glute to lift your leg. And then reach that arm around, bend the knee, and go toward your foot. It might connect, it might not. Just give your little hip flexor a nod. And then returning again to that spinal balance, we'll set the hand down, tuck those toes behind you, and press back into your heel. Come into a little calf stretch. And at the same time, we've got length now across the front of the right hip. And let's return to center. Find your neutral spine. Left leg reaches back, right arm reaches forward. Lift that leg just a bit. The arm comes back, bend the knee, and just reach toward the foot or find it if that happens. Breathe. Just feel. Really beautiful, everyone. Extend out long, set the hand down, and then tuck the toes. Press back into the heel. Let your attention travel down into your lower leg. Nice deep breaths. And then back to tabletop. Let's widen the knees just a bit. Press back into child's pose and forward into a kneeling plank. So again, the awareness is going to come into the front of the hips more than the back of the hips today. So let's start here, almost into an upward facing dog, but just relaxing the hips forward, nice and easy. And I have my knees a little wider, so this can kind of turn into a little like a butterfly as you come forward, the inner knees on the ground, if that feels okay. The knees come back close together. Let's tuck the toes, lifting into downward facing dog. And here we'll start to go back into those ankles, calves, Achilles tendons, just pedaling the heels. Downward facing dog, let's raise the right leg up, bend the knee, open across the hip flexor. Let's see if that muscle's a little more ready to peek out into the bright sunlight. Lift up and switch. Come up and open. And release. Let's walk the feet toward the hands. Pressing onto our shins, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Let's lift halfway and fold again. One more time, nice flat back and a forward fold. Heel toe your feet wide, maybe out to the edges of your mat. Bend the knees a little bit more and let's grab our elbows and let's pull down here. And let those arms kind of frame your head. And then either just hanging right here with the belly resting between the thighs or a little sway side to side. You choose what feels best to your body today. If there's any strain in your low back, bend your knees more and just be still. Let your back know that you are going to protect it today. And everybody join me in a loud sigh. Fingertips again to the floor. Let's lengthen through the spine, bend the knees, and then press up to stand. A couple of big shoulder circles now that we have arrived on our feet. Here, listening to the earth underneath our toes. All right, so we're gonna just do another little Kriya here, and this is gonna start with a knee lift, alternating a knee lift. You're gonna feel like a march, so your opposite arm can come up. And the intention is to squeeze that hip flexor. So the knee comes up as high as you can get it. Just waking that baby up. Iliopsoas. Let's start to create a rhythm with breath. Inhale and exhale. See if you feel a little bit of, I don't know, tiredness there. Maybe anger is showing up already. 3 more. 2, 1, and pause. Pause and feel that subtle energy, the non-doing, the being, awake and aware. So slowly reach your arms up high, come as tall as you can, fingers to the ceiling, and then exhale down through chair, hands at heart. Let's do that again. Sweep up, feel those hip flexors lengthening, and then feel them squeezing. Sit as low as you can, feeling those hips. Beautiful, everyone. Deep breath in, reach tall. Swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, and let's meet again in downward facing dog. Shifting forward into plank pose, let's drop our knees and then slowly melt the hips, the belly, and the head to the floor. Coming up into cobra, pause right here. And just feeling that length across the hips. This is actually a really nice reset for the hip flexors, especially if you've been doing a lot of sitting. Just laying on the belly is a nice way to find length there. Hands come back by the ribs, press back through child's pose, tuck the toes, and lift into downward facing dog. And once again, let's pedal those heels. Raising the right leg, bending the knee, open across that hip. And see if that's any different than last time. Switching sides. Breathing deeply. And then from down dog, feet come to hands. Let's lift halfway, take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Sweeping the arms high and hands to heart. Beautiful. Let's go one time through Sun A, flowing with breath. Lift tall, bow low. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a vinyasa, everyone, shifting forward, lowering down. Rise and feel those hips. And meet in down dog. I'm just pedaling the heels here. Let's bring the feet to the hands, lifting halfway. Big sigh as we fold. Rising up, extended mountain. And hands to heart. Good. Hopefully the body's a little bit warmer here. Feet are hip distance apart. Bring your hands onto your back pockets. All right, and we're just going to press the hips slightly forward, not too much, just enough to feel length. Shoulders come onto the back. And then let your heart stick out. Just let your heart stick forward. Close your eyes and breathe here in this very gentle but profound back bend. Feet feeling the earth. Crown of the head lifting toward the blue sky. Heart extended out, supported behind you. And then release, arms at the sides. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And swan dive, forward fold. All right, the right foot stays right where it is. Step the left foot back and let's drop the knee to the ground. This will be our first look at a deeper hip flexor stretch. Spoiler alert, we are going to make it all the way into the splits today, Hanumanasana, the pose of the monkey god Hanuman. And we're starting right here. We're patient. We're just here doing nothing, allowing gravity, body weight to change our physiology. So choosing either to stay here with hands on the ground, or if your body feels ready, pressing on the thigh and coming up into a kneeling lunge. Again, just checking in here. This muscle, this hip flexor muscle, is about the size of your forearm. You've got two of them on both sides. So it's very rope-like, sturdy. Part of its job is to be erect, to help you be upright. Part of its job is connecting the upper body to the lower body. But it sits in the dark a lot, folded up, all of our sitting. Option to stay here or lift the arms. Hear the sound of your breath as your hands reach up and your hips sink down. We'll bring the fingers to the floor and let's slide back into a hamstring stretch. We'll go forward and back a few times. Oh, these hips, huh? Pausing in the hamstring stretch, walk the hands forward, pull your toes back, and just let the back of that leg start to get some attention. And shifting forward once again. Let's tuck our back toes, lift the knee, and bring yourself into a 3-point balance. Just let the fingers come down. Standing legs strong. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, lower the left leg to the ground. Shake out your knees a little bit and just feel into your hips after that one side. Let's press to the shins. Sweep the arms up, take a deep breath in, come to standing mountain pose, arms at the sides, and just feel here into your hips. You're a little lopsided. Do you notice a difference? Let's reach up again and bow down. We'll switch sides. Left foot stays where it is, right foot reaches back. Come onto your back knee. it is not uncommon to kind of feel a little bit off when you're working with deep hip flexor work. Psoas, this muscle is called the iliopsoas. A psoas release can also bring feelings of like light nausea even. There's a lot going on here in this third chakra, this digestive area, solar sacral area. So just be present to what comes up and maybe curious about what you find here. Just being here with breath and awareness. You can either stay here or press hands to thigh, just a little more lift and length. Notice here. Either hands down or lift up into a kneeling lunge. Nice deep breaths. Doing nothing. The fingertips come to the floor. Let's tuck our back toes. Lift into that 3-point balance. A little bit of a glute contraction to lift the leg. Press down into the left foot. Deep, deep breaths. And we'll slowly lower the right leg, come to forward fold. Notice what's here in your hips. Lifting halfway, we'll reach the arms high. Let's cactus the arms in a little back bend. And then find mountain pose. And again, just a little pause, a space between to notice what's here, what is not here. Let's reach the arms high. Bow down. And I'm going to pretend that I didn't forget this, that I meant to do this. Keep the left foot where it is. Step the right foot back. And let's do that hamstring. Thank goodness I remembered. That would be traumatic if we forgot this hammy. Stretching back, hold toes back, fingers forward. Find the length. And since we're already on this side, let's start left for the next sequence. So we're going to bring the foot down to the floor, tuck the back toes, lift your back knee. So low lunge now. And of course, you always have the option to be on a knee if that works better for you. But let's bring it up here for a little change of pace if it works. On this side, in this round, we'll work into our twisting. So right hand down, you can use a block if you like. Left arm circles up all the way around. We'll do a few circles first. And the next time that arm comes up, hold your twist. Chest opens, be really high on those back toes. You're wringing something out here. Remember that this hip flexor work is about letting something go, cleaning out some of the junk. And that hand will come to the floor. We'll stay on the toes, pressing up to high lunge. Let your left fingers come around your right wrist and we'll stretch that side body a little further. There's that iliopsoas. Think of stretching from the middle of your right thigh Clear up into your bottom ribs. And release the hands. Turn your body to the wide side of your mat. Oh my goodness. Whew. Put a bend in the knees and just rock it out a little bit. Let's kind of juice the hips, just in and out of this wide squat. Hands feeling that hip crease. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's add some arms, lift and lower in sunflowers. A little smile on your face. Joyful movement as we clean out those corners. One more big reach, fingers out wide. Spread those jazz hands, deep breath in. And then let's windmill toward the right foot, coming down into low lunge. Toes are tucked under unless the knee is better for you. And we're on the second side. Big, slow breaths. Left hand on the floor or a block. Let's circle the right arm. Checking in with shoulders. And this time the arm stays up, open into that twist. Reach on the inhale, the body gets longer, brighter. Exhale, like you're cleaning a cloth. Wring it out. Oh. And the hand comes down. Stay on those back toes. Bring yourself up into high lunge. And then we'll wrap the right fingers around the left wrist and stretch. So literally this muscle attaches right here at the top of the femur, top of the thigh, and it starts clear up in here on your spine. So think of stretching that space as you pull up on that wrist, rib cage away from the thigh. And release. Come back to your wide position and let's just bounce in and out of those squats again. Fingers can be at the crease of the hips. Have you gotten your own attention yet? Your hips know you're coming. Let's open the arms into a moon squat. So we're going to stay straight up and down. I learned yesterday that this pose, I've never heard the name before, but Kalyasana, named after the goddess Kali, who is the goddess of destruction. And destruction in the very best way, sent to help us get rid of negativity, any energy that just is not serving us. She's here to help us sweep the house. And that's not always pleasant, but it's always necessary. So we're going to come down into this pose, elbows bent, hands turned up. Breathe here. Kalyasana. What can we rid ourselves of today as we clean out this junk drawer? Bring your hands to your heart, straighten the legs, heel toe the feet together. Pause again in the space in between. What's here and what is not here. Sweep the arms high. Bow low. And we're probably all still facing the wide edge of our mat. So let's heel toe out into a wide straddle. We'll turn our toes to the corners of our mat and let's lunge side to side. We'll add in a little bit of inner thigh adductor, which is definitely helpful if we want to go into that Hanuman asana or the splits. So let's lunge toward our left leg. We'll pivot back to this lunge and we'll drop the knee. So you have a lot of choices here. Option one is to just rock forward and back and keep that movement. Option two is to slide the back knee and scoot the left foot forward until you find yourself in something that feels like the split. So it could look like this, with bent knees, depending on your bony structure, your body might allow for a little straighter legs. You can put your hands on blocks. It's also really nice to put a cushion under the front leg. We're going to be here for a few breaths. So there are a lot of really beautiful stories about Hanuman. But the short version of my favorite story about Hanuman is that when he was turned into a monkey, he temporarily forgot that he was a god. And the leap he took across continents helped him remember his greatness. All the stories of Hanuman are about remembering our divinity. We've just forgotten how beautiful and powerful we are. Hanuman helps us remember that there never really was darkness. We just forgot about our light. What are you noticing in this deep hip flexor and hamstring position? What do you need to remember here? Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, find a non-graceful way out of this. I've yet to find a graceful way out of this. But we're just going to lay down on our bellies. Like I said earlier, this little reset of just being prone, face down. We're just going to wiggle our hips and close your eyes and just see what you feel left and right. Does it feel like one side of your body is lighter or heavier, brighter, darker? Do you notice asymmetry, unevenness? And just take 3 more breaths here in the space in between. When you're ready, press up to Cobra. Hands by your hips, come up to your knees. Shift back for 1 breath. And then scoop your right foot forward. And here we go. Time to remember. So option to just stay with a movement or to ease your way into the splits. And actually kneeling lunge is a version of the splits. So we've already been doing this the whole class, so you can stay right there, or you can find a place that's sustainable to hold. Prop underneath you, put your hands on something. Oh. And if your anger muscle is speaking to you right now, you can say, thank you, Gail, for the suggestion of junk drawer June. hip openers the whole month of June. Compliments of our friend Gail. So what's in this corner? Hanuman is also the god of extreme devotion. Extreme devotion. He was so devoted to his Lord Rama that when challenged, he ripped open his chest and revealed that in his heart, Rama and Sita, his bride, were there inside Hanuman's heart. He was that devoted. So when you remember your divinity, what is in your heart? What's true here for you? Deep breaths. Cleaning and clearing whatever is there. And then when you're ready, we'll tip ourselves out of this gracefully or not. Let's come down onto our bellies. Ooh, that was fun. And wiggle out your hips. Maybe bounce your legs a few times and then just come into this place of noticing a space in between. And hands to the shoulders, press up to a tabletop position. So we've gone all the way down that path, but I just want to repeat a kneeling lunge and a high lunge, just so you can see the work that you've been doing here. So I think it's going to feel really good. So go ahead and start with left foot forward, kneeling lunge. Notice the space, tuck the back toes, come into low lunge, and then slowly bring yourself up to high lunge. And just see if it feels like you can be here with any more ease. Bring your hands down, pivot to the center. We'll go to the back leg. Right foot forward, drop the left knee. Notice. Tuck the toes, come to low lunge. And then lift yourself up into high lunge. And hands come to heart. Pivot back to the center. Let's hinge forward from the hips, come into this wide straddle. Let your head be below your heart. Let your exhales be a little longer. Maybe a sigh. And lifting halfway, drop both of your knees to the mat. And we're going to bring ourselves down onto our backs. Yay. Everyone's favorite time, right? Knees come in. And then we're just going to hold the right knee while the left leg falls flat. Really squeeze into that right hip flexor once again. Both knees in, squeeze the left, drop the right. Just let it relax on the floor, bounce it out a little. Really squeeze the left. And let's alternate a few times. So squeeze the right, relax the left, and switch. Let yourself breathe out. Good, one more time. And then coming into bridge pose, both feet down. Lift your hips. This should feel good now that those muscles are warm and loose. Arms on the ground or interlaced beneath you, your choice. Open up through the chest, press into the feet, lift the hips as high as you can. And then breathe as if those hips had lungs. Just let your heart push forward, let your hips lift up, breathe so deeply here. Good, and then lower your hips down. Take your arms out into a T. Let's make our feet a little bit wider and we'll just windshield wiper the knees back and forth. As the knees go to the left, let them rest there. Turn your head to the right. And there's another really gentle hip flexor stretch, a little more toward the outer hip. Being here, doing nothing. And then switch, let the knees go right, turn the head to the left. And coming back to center. Heel, toe the feet in. All right, once again, right knee comes in, left leg falls to the floor. This time we'll add that hamstring stretch in. So the leg comes up nice and high, and you can just gently bring that leg towards you, point and flex. And then as those toes come down, you can either just hold your calf or maybe grab the toe. Let's give a little bit of leverage, a little bit more length in that hamstring. The bottom leg is stretching passively, so keep noticing that. Left arm extends out to the side, right leg opens. Deep, slow breaths. And bring that leg up. We're going to bend the knee and cross the body. So coming into a spinal twist, knee across, head turns to the right hand. Easing toward the end of class, so just close your eyes and start to notice each body part starting to release and relax toward your final rest. And coming back to center. Let yourself be in Shavasana before we switch sides, just noticing right and left. And then left knee comes in. Give it a nice tight squeeze around the hip. The right leg relax down. And then we'll take that leg up. And just flex and point. You can either hold on the calf, or if you have a strap or your toe, give that leg a little bit more, a little bit of a tug. Not so you strain, just so you feel. The right arm extends. Let's take that leg out to the left side. Breathing into the sensation that you find here. And back to center. We'll bend the knee and let's take it across the body, coming into your twist. Left arm extends, shoulders on the ground. Sweet, slow breaths. As we make our way back to center, one more time, the knees come in and we're really going to squeeze. This pose is called Apanasana. It's a downward wind posture. So those legs press into the belly, the hip flexors squeeze tight. You might even shake a little bit. We've been doing a lot there. So squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And then go ahead and take your legs in super slow motion out a little bit wider. They might even be wider than your mat. And I want you to just bounce your legs here. Just bounce your calves on the floor. Maybe the hands can touch the hip flexors and do a little gentle massage, that place where we've been working so much today. And then let your legs come to rest. Block the feet in and out. Let them end out. Arms come to your sides. Nice deep breaths here. Starting to move into stillness once again. This place of doing nothing. As you continue to rest in your Shavasana, you are welcome to stay in this posture, or you may gently, slowly sit up. I invite you to welcome your desire to move or to be still. And as you are here in this moment, allow me to share with you verse 2 of the Radiant Sutras. Radiant One, the life essence carries on its play through the pulsing rhythm of outward and inward movement. This is the ceaseless throb, the rhythm of life, terrifying in its eternity, exquisite in its constancy. The inhalation, the return movement of breath sustains life. The outgoing breath purifies life. These are the two poles between which respiration goes on unceasingly. Between them is every delight you could desire. Even when the senses are turned outward, your attention on the external world, attend also to the inner throb, the pulsing of the creative impulse within you. So as you allow those words, the sacred text, to take root and permeate throughout your being, just surrender to the gifts of your practice. Listen to your breath. Listen to your body. Honor what comes up, especially whatever comes up in your mind. Welcome it all. For as Byron Katie once said, the mind can never be controlled. It can only be questioned, loved, and met with understanding.
So, as you are listening, ask, what is it I need today? Perhaps today's often practice has given you that already. But as you move throughout your day, never be shy to ask what it is you need. And whatever answer comes up, allow some space to validate any part of yourself that speaks up. And in that safe space that you've cultivated within yourself, for yourself, appreciate the process through which you have allowed yourself to move through. Taking deep, cleansing breaths. Inhalation, the return movement of breath sustains life. And the outgoing breath purifies life. This is the ceaseless throb, the rhythm of life, terrifying in its eternity, exquisite in its constancy. I will allow you a few moments of silence. Let your breath be the playlist of your life force in this moment. Allow yourself to take some deep breaths. Notice the surrounding ambient noises in your own space. Begin to reawaken to your outside world. And then gently, kindly wiggle your fingers and your toes. Hmm. Circle out your wrists, circle out your ankles. With a deep inhale, reach up overhead. Pull yourself like taffy. And bring your arms crossed in front of your chest. Give yourself a big, big hug. Be proud of the work you're putting into living your best experience. And as you are ready, place your hands in front of your chest, either in prayer or stacked on top of each other. Any way, any expression, supporting and loving yourself. Thank you so much for allowing me and Denise to guide you in your practice today. We are so honored and grateful to have you in our practice. Thank you. May you all be safe. May you all be healthy. May you all be happy. May you all be peaceful and at ease. Namaste.